the 2012 Foot Locker National Cross Country Championship. The Northeast in the black, the South in the red, the Midwest in that gold, and the West in the blue. If you're new to this course, it's a great course. The first mile and a half, relatively flat before we get to the first big hill, but a very fast first 200, and right to the front, just like she did in the regional, Marissa Williams. Oh my, Carrie, she's gonna take it out hard, isn't she?
You know, I love Marissa. She is so fresh-faced when it comes to this sport. She has no idea really what to expect, and that is something that could make a champion.
This is just like her regional race. At 400 meters into that regional race, she was already 20 seconds open on the lead, and she had a 10-second lead by the mile, but my goodness, she is going out very quickly here.
You know, Tim, we have so many stories about all of these athletes, but Marissa has kind of a fun one at the regional race, and you know a little bit more about this, but she did not know she was entered in the seeded race. Can you talk about that?
Oh my goodness. Well, she just went through the first 400 meters. Now, it's relatively downhill for most of that. 66 seconds for the first 400, out very quickly. Yeah, she was going to run in the Frost Soft race. She had run well during the year, was a little bit ill in the California State meet, but came through, and the coach said, no, let's go into the seeded race. A little bit of objections, but he said, you'll be fine. And there she is, the West Regional Champion. But she is out very quickly, pushing that pace very fast over, like we said earlier, a very experienced field carry. So those girls know that maybe this is a little quick up front. So Marissa is going to do what I guess is a do or die effort here. Going to take it out and see what happens.
You know, the pack sees her and they know what to expect. They obviously have read the internet. They know that she won by 30 seconds at her regional race, so they're not going to let her go too far, I would think. But at the same time, they do know that she's young. They know that, you know, some of these people have run this race many, many, many times, so they're going to have to keep her within distance, but also be able to, with it, you know, keep themselves within their race plan as well.
Maybe a little bit of a West strategy. We also see in that group there, McKenna Morley, the sophomore. She was here last year. Kayla Farron, a very fast 800-meter run. You see the blue there of the West out front very well. We also see the gold of the Midwest also in that group. So a good pack here. Coming up to the first 800 meters, we're just under right at 2:30 for 800, 5-minute pace for that first mile.
Quicker than they were last year, and Erin Finn was out all by herself last year as well, so they are really moving.
Very quick here. Marissa Williams, a sophomore from Palisades Charter High School, the Los Angeles City section champion, out very quickly here through our first 800 meters into that race. We've got a good group there. We said Farron's in that, and Morley from the West. Taylor Werner, the freshman from St. Genevieve. Those freshmen, they are going at it. Megan Riley, also a freshman from New York out there. Anusha Heda and Katie Lembo all right there. And here they come, Marissa Williams, and the pack just a few steps behind. Right there.
Hauger is right there from Minnesota. A lot of the Midwest girls right up front.
Looks like Taylor Werner trying to move up on her shoulder, but Marissa Williams out very quickly. And you can see now the gold of the Midwest. Oh my goodness, 5, 2 through 6 right there. You get caught up a little bit, Carrie, with your teammates there. If you figure if they're going to go at this pace, then it's probably okay for you.
You sure do. I mean, I'm not going to lie. When I won my regional race, I wanted to be the first girl for the Midwest at the Foot Locker Championship. So even though you try not to think about all of the other girls' race strategies, when you know who's from your region, you do try to win that race within the race. So, you know, they might see, hey, this girl I ran with at the regional race, I'm going to run right with her. You know, and it is kind of fun to have all of your team right up there with you. It's a little bit more of a confidence factor.
So maybe Marissa Williams settle in a little bit now with that group. She took that pace out. We got a very quick first 800 meters, but now she's got a group to run with, and we can see right in there, Anna Rohrer set a course record in the Midwest region. That's her moving up on the right shoulder there of Williams now.
Maria Hauger out in the lead there. She was here last year, finished 21st. You know, she has always, I'm from Minnesota, I've seen her race. She likes to push from the gun. She hasn't had a lot of competition back in Minnesota, but she is a tough athlete. So I'm not surprised to see her up front leading this race.
That's Maria Hager pushing the pace there, right there. Anna Rohr, Taylor Werner, Jordan Coulter, Courtney Ackerman, all right there with her. Marissa Williams, the lone in the blue there. We see the Northeast girls trying to move up a little bit. That looks like Rocha, our very experienced girl, third time here at the Foot Locker Nationals, and they come by the mile mark, 5:18 at the mile. So that's a pretty quick first mile. Now the first time up the hill. Carrie, very steep that first part of the hill. 100 meters, really steep part, isn't it?
It is. We were walking up the hill yesterday, Lauren Fleshman and I, who are both expecting babies, and we were out of breath just walking. So, you know, it is definitely a steep hill, but a fun hill at the same time.
You really can't make too big a move because you've got to do it again here in just about a mile. Come back to it.
Right. A lot of things happen on that hill out there, and if you guys haven't had a chance to go and check it out, you should. But a lot of moves, you know, happen and actually make the race. So it's usually on the second time around, but you see who likes the hills, and these people attack it.
That's Jordan Coulter, the sophomore from Cherry Creek, now pushing that pace a little bit. But as you can see, 4 of her teammates running right there. Wow, if this were a team race, it'd be 15 points right now for the Midwest, but we've got a long ways to go still.
It's early on, but you know, they're getting excited, and they also are getting into the groove of the race. So it's interesting to see that nobody has really come back. They're still pressing it, so they must be feeling really good out there.
So that steep hill, about 100 meters to the real steep part, and then about another 100 meters zip-zagging back and coming over to the top. Now they'll make that turn, and about a 200-meter straight shot, the steepest part of the course, certainly the steepest as we come down the downhill on Upa Street there. As Bob Kennedy mentioned, this is where Bob made the fall, turned up, kept rolling, and went right on to winning a national championship. And we can see Rocha there with their experience there, moving up slowly, getting right up into that group. And that looks like Sophie Chase, the Southern, and she's also her third year here, the South Region champion. So you've got the Northeast, the Midwest, and the South champion, and our West champion. So all 4 of our regional champions in the first 9 spots at about a mile and a half into our championship final.
They're getting close to coming through the crowd here. Make sure you guys are loud. This is when we really need the crowd to keep us going. So it's exciting. 4 of our best are coming right to you.
Oh boy, last year we saw Erin Finn take it out, and we had a 2-girl race really for the whole way. But right now, as you can see, not just those 6 girls leading up front, but there's 15 girls that got a shot at this still, don't they?
There's a lot. I mean, actually, they're all still in the race. I mean, they're so tightly packed, but you know, it's nice to be up front and to see that position where you want to finish. I always say in cross country, you need to see where you want to finish. I know Sarah Hall, as we know her, came from behind, from being in last place to win this race, but a lot of times you have to see that place where you want to finish in cross country to be able to actually finish there. A lot of people, they don't come back to you, Tim. You go to them.
Here come our leaders in this race. You see the 4 girls from the Midwest, and one of those, of course, they're wearing bib 31, Anna Rohr, the Midwest champion right there. But Sophie Chase, also from the South in the red, the South champion, and Katarina Rocha, also in there, joining that group now, also Karis Jochen. So the experience, they didn't take it out too hard, and have moved right up in there. Marissa Williams, our early leader, still running very well in about 9th right there. So again, 4 regional champions in the top 9, all within about 15 meters of each other, passing the halfway point. The 2012, the 34th annual Foot Locker National Championship, and it is certainly anybody's race here halfway through. You know, you and John were talking about the course. It is in great shape. It is a really great cross-country course. Grass, dirt, they're on the dirt part now. It's a really fair test, isn't it?
It is. I mean, the ground is so compact that it makes it fast, but yet we have those huge hills. And even the downhill, even though it makes you go really fast, it takes a lot out of your legs. So it's a great course.
Well, somebody is going to have to make a move here over this last mile to get themselves into a position to win this national championship. But right now, we've got a solid pack up front there and several girls right nearby, so it should be a great last mile.
You know, a lot of the regional races were won in that last mile. People were putting on 19, 12 seconds to win their regional. So, you know, a lot of people might have been thinking, okay, or a lot of these runners might have been thinking, get to 2 mile mark, and then we'll really see what we're made of. So, you know, we saw a lot of those strategies 1-2 weeks ago. We'll see what happens today.
Here come our leaders. They'll make that dog loop turn, head up to the 2 mile mark. And we've still got Rohr, Werner, Hogger, Coulter, and Ackerman, all from the Midwest. Jochen and Chase from the south. Rocha right there from the northeast. Williams from the west. That's our top 10 here as they start to make their way up to the 2 mile mark. Our pack beginning to thin just a tad, but all those girls running very well. We've got the 3 girls from the Midwest now, Jochen, Chase, and Rocha joining them, and they're just about to come out of the eucalyptus trees, and that looks like Rohr is starting to put a little bit of a move on there. I guess the young sophomore thinks it's time.
You know, Anna has had an interesting story. She's been really injured the past, I guess, year, and she has been biking and swimming and doing all kinds of cross training, and she thinks it's really helped her running. So it's kind of fun to see the background that all these women have, and to see them come here and to, you know, show their stuff, and she's really doing well.
We went 11:10 at 2 miles. They just passed the 2 mile mark at 11:10. That looks like Karis Jochen trying to bridge that gap and bring that group up back to her. Making their way around the pool, they'll be heading over and do the same loop and up the big hill a second time. Once they get to the top of the big hill, a half mile to a national championship.
Here they come, you guys, right around the bend here. Anna's putting a little bit of distance on.
Oh, she is really working. Anna Rohr, she is the Midwest champion, trying to push that pace. Hogger and Coulter right there. Jochen, Rocha, Chase, Ackerman right there. Williams right there, still in the top 10. But the Midwest, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the top 11 for the Midwest. A dominating group here, young and talented. But Anna Rohr using that downhill, starting to pick it up a little bit, starting to open up a little ground. She set a course record this year. The Midwest has produced some of the finest athletes in Foot Locker history, and she is the fastest of all of them, the record holder now in the Midwest, and pushing that pace. What do you think, Carrie? Can she hold it all the way?
You know, I think she wanted to sit. I know that she likes to run in a pack, and so I'm assuming if she sat that long and thought, now with 1 mile to go, I can make my move, she must be feeling good.
No fear, no fear.
If she wasn't feeling good, I would think she would have sat a little longer, so I'm assuming she's ready to roll.
She looks outstanding. Anna Rohr from Mishawaka in Indiana.
Only a sophomore, Tim.
Wow. As we said, injured most of that freshman year, coming back this year very strong. They're making their way in the lower loop. They're just about to approach the big hill again, and we'll get a split there just before they go up the hill. But the second time, that usually is our indication of our champions or who's going to be a potential champion, because once they get to the top, they'll half mile to the downhill, and we can see through the trees, Rohr has opened up a bit more of her lead. Still, though, only about 30 meters, and it's her teammates running in second and third. And then Chase and Rocha running in 4 and 5. They are now at the bottom of the hill. We start up the big hill. We'll see them at the top in just a second. We should get a glimpse of them as we can see it. Once they do that steep 100-meter spot, they'll make a right turn and start to run laterally. They make a U-turn, then they'll get to the top of the hill. And we can see Anna Rohr has made it through that steep part and has actually still just about 30, maybe 40 meters. Mid-rest, 1, 2, 3. And then Chase and Rocha running in 4 and 5. Hogger and Coulter from the Midwest in that chase group there, trying to get close enough, give themselves a shot as they make their way up that hill. Anna Rohr makes the turn. Once she hits the top of that, 200 yards downhill and then about a 500-yard sprint to the finish. Anna Rohr from Mishawaka, but our second and third runners from the Midwest, they're coming back a little bit. Looks like that lead has been cut back on that last little bit there. Just as they disappear into the trees, Hager has moved up a bit and is now just about 20 meters behind. Coulter about 10 meters behind her, and Joachim and Rocha, those are our top 5, but our pack is starting to come back a little bit. They'll be coming downhill. We'll see them in just a few minutes.
Here they come. We see at the bottom of the hill, I can see them. I think it's Anna in first there with Maria in second.
Once they hit that downhill, that's 500 meters from there to the finish line. They'll come across the road a little bit more uphill, and then 250 meters once they make that final left turn. You can see just before the sidewalk there, just before they cross the road, that's the 3-mile mark. Remember, we're running 5,000 meters here. So that is the 3-mile mark. We'll get a 3-mile time. But Anna Rohr trying to hang on and win this national championship. She is in the lead. We can see her now come into view. But we've got a pretty good battle. Her teammates, Hager and Coulter, running right there. We've got 3 girls here with just about 200 meters to go, trying to pick it up one more time. Here she comes, Anna Rohr. She'll make that 3-mile right there at 16:47, making the turn. Let's hear it for Anna Rohr, the sophomore from Indiana. Maria Hager and Jordan Coulter make the turn. Here comes Rocha powering home, but over that last little hill.
Look at them drive, look at them go.
Anna Rohr, here comes very strong
Rocha,
Katarina Rocha. But our 2012 Foot Locker national champion will be Anna Rohr from Mishawaka, Indiana. And it looks like Rocha moves up for second. A great finish for the senior from Peabody. Outstanding last bit. We have Coulter and Hager right there. Hager will finish third officially. Coulter will finish fourth. Karis Jochen moving up into fifth. Officially, our winning time for Anna Rohr will be 17:25. Rocha at 17:29. Hager at 17:30. Coulter at 17:30 also. And Jochen at 17:36. What a tremendous move. Outstanding. Anna Rohr, no fear. What a great last mile, Carrie, huh?
That was awesome. I mean, that's what this is all about. All the way to the finish line, you have to drive. And we saw that in these ladies today.
You know, what a great effort. Katarina Rocha at that last half mile. Looked like she wasn't even going to be in that top 3. And great finish there. Powerful all the way home just to edge out Hager and Coulter for that third spot. So she will have a great Foot Locker legacy. Her second place finish in her third time here. So Anna Rohr really thunders her way into the national spotlight here. The name may not have been familiar before, but it certainly is now. Anna Rohr puts her name right there with the best in the country, and as just a sophomore, we'll have a chance to see her try to return and defend that championship here a couple more times here.
Interesting to see how her season progressed. And, you know, this has been a long year for all of these ladies out here. So, you know, each and every one of them should be proud of their efforts today.
Wow, 2 sophomores in the top 10, or the top 5. The girls just really a lot of talent coming up. Marissa Williams, younger comes in here, pushes that pace early on. Good race for her. She just now coming into the national spotlight also. So as we've been saying all along, Carrie, this is where you learn these things, isn't it?
Yep, there are some days that go great and some days that don't go as well as you want it to. But when you are here, you need to be proud of that. You need to be excited that you made it here, regardless of how you finish. It's awesome to walk away with that win or to walk away with a top 5, 10, 15, whatever finish. But really, at the end of the day, tonight, when they go back to the Del Coronado and get their dancing shoes on and have some fun, they're going to realize that, you know what, just making it here is pretty special.
We can see up on the results now being posted up on the big screen there right behind the finish line. Those are our official results there. And we have Dina Castor, Dina Drosen, 4-time Foot Locker finalist, and now Dina Castor